Greetings from Paul Levy here at Royal Pavilion Gardens, Brighton, particularly sitting at one of my favourite places to record these videos, which is sometimes known to me as my office outdoors, with the pigeons and the squirrels and human beings for company, or on seagulls, who you'll probably hear too. Here at Pavilion Gardens Cafe I'm continuing my reflections on AI. And a lot of people, of course, think AI stands for artificial intelligence, and in other videos I've made the case for AI not being artificial intelligence at all. That's something that lies in our future, our near future perhaps, but AI currently stands for artificial impersonation, and that's very much what generative AI represents. And its ability to impersonate has a number of levels which are both positive and negative. I also recorded this because not far from me is a family with their children. Hopefully you can hear them in the background, because what we're doing now is going to be inherited by them, and I think we need to wake up to that fact and think with a sense of responsibility and perhaps a sense of restrainability about the steps we take right now. Now, you've probably been involved directly or have heard the stories of people asking ChatGPT to write them complaint letters for getting a parking ticket they didn't want and getting a successful appeal. And I just had a message from a friend of mine who I respect greatly. He's a musicologist who parked illegally recently and didn't want to try and get off the fine. He just wanted to pay the fine, feel the pain, and have nothing to do with the local authority again, really. But he's somebody who, if he was going to appeal, he'd very much write as himself and not try and be impersonated by AI. Now, artificial impersonation is very good at impersonating you, and you've probably been aware of that in the news. And when you sometimes see images of, it might be Vladimir Putin or Donald Trump quite often, but other famous people, that was that really them, or was it a copy, was it an actor, a body double? And of course that also happens in movies where there might be a stunt and the actor's not doing those stunts, so there's a body double stepping in for them. So in some ways this has become normalised through entertainment and politics, which where there might be risk involved, we use a human being to impersonate us. Now, of course, technology has made that very possible. It's very possible to deep fake me. Now my voice, now this video, how can you be sure it's me? Well, at the moment, you can tell if you look, but it won't be long perhaps before the copy we create really is an impersonator of us that's so good that no one can tell the difference. So at one level, we can use ChatGPT and generative AI and all the video tools and so on to deep fake somebody else. And that has been problematic, where we put the words into the mouth of somebody who is shocked when they discover a YouTube video of themselves saying something that might be politically not what they would say, but it's being used for political purposes to get people to vote in a particular way. And that can end up in the courts, though there is not so much court cases happening and it's very expensive. So a lot of people just let that illegal, immoral impersonation go. But I wonder where that's really coming from. I mean, it's certainly coming from that in the news. But how about you? How about you sending that letter because you're busy to your grandmother, to your auntie, to a friend who's not well, and you're so busy you just get ChatGPT, who might be trained on all of your information, to write it for you. And for you to come up with a narrative for yourself that says that's okay. You know, how do they know the difference? That's a term I've been seeing on LinkedIn a lot. You know, how crazy is it for you to spend loads of time? This was one of the posts on Canva, which is an app to help you create your own presentations, for example. Or there are many AI apps now where you just prompt it for a few lines and it will create the images, it will create the words, and you will present it giving the impression that you chose those pictures, that you wrote that script, that you presented it. And at some point, and this is already appearing also on LinkedIn, that the deep fake of you that's presenting it, sounding just like you, that somehow it is you. Now, if you don't say, by the way, this is not me, this was created with an AI, you are being deceptive. You are using generative AI to impersonate, in this case, you, or of course it could be to impersonate somebody else. and it's not you, and no, you didn't make that food, and no, you didn't paint that picture, and no, you didn't make those slides. And we're slipping into that as a new form of cool technology under the banners of efficiency. It's a way of saving time, of getting more out of you. Soon enough, of course, that there could be episodes of TV shows where, and here's the noise of the kids, I'll let that run by. There we go. And the you that's presenting, or someone that's stepping in for you, that's okay, that's appropriate. But I wonder what we are creating when we don't reveal that the person before me is me, but is a copy, is an impersonation. That the painting that was in our style was not painted by us with wet paint on paper. Do you feel it matters? Am I just being old-fashioned and out of date? That's a decision that you need to make. But I would say at the moment, if you discovered that your partner had written you a letter or a postcard from a place saying they missed you, but the words "they missed you" were actually written by an AI to sound like you, at the heart of that deception, that inauthenticity, particularly if that just simply becomes normalized so we don't notice it, puts in place the notion that lying and deception, technologized, are now normal, they're now acceptable, they're now part of productivity, they're now part of efficiency. So what happens if we create a world where AI becomes our partner in deception? Well, we've certainly got evidence from many, many decades, and it goes back right to the fairy tale of the boy who cried wolf. Which, if you don't know the story, it's somebody, there are different versions of it, who keeps crying for help that there's a wolf coming, and when people get there, the boy is just having fun, he's joking, and there is no wolf. And then finally, when there is a wolf and the boy cries, no one comes, and then the wolf eats up, destroys that person. Crying wolf is essentially deception. And in this case, if we discover regularly that somebody who claims to be our close friend, a family member, is wishing us deep things, is writing to us as if it were them, but we discover that it's not them, well, we could become comfortably numb, as Pink Floyd call it. It becomes the new normal. But we've certainly got evidence in the past that when people regularly tell little white lies, it erodes trust, it erodes belief. It erodes our ability and willingness to be vulnerable and to be raw and naked with other people in terms of what we tell them. And you might think that will just go away, but I have a sense it's already happening, that when we don't know who to believe and what to believe, we withdraw, we become cynical, we minimise, we become tactical and strategic with other people. And in the long run, actually those efficiency measures fall away. Quite often you double check that somebody's telling you the truth. Sometimes you seek confirmation. Sometimes by not believing somebody's told you something, you behave differently, and discovery takes longer. And so actually there, I would suggest there's evidence that mistrust, even if it's accepted, can slow down processes and can essentially kind of create a murky fogginess where there was clarity. Now, some people believe this is just a transition to the new normal, but others believe there's something fundamental to the human condition around trust, that AI is eroding. And I would invite you to consider that right now. The children have gone with their families, but that children are the generation we're leaving these norms and cultural behaviours to.